Many thanks for staying tuned to the program this morning. Now let's talk about politics. What so many people like to talk about. This morning I have a political analyst here with me. He is by name Sesu Dishit Mekia. Together we're going to be talking about political leadership and decision making. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Very fine.
Okay, so now let's get started. We're talking about political leadership and decision making. Now, I want to ask you the first question. What are some of the difficult decisions made by political leaders, and how do you think these decisions were approved?
Well, the division, sorry, affecting our sense of judgment as a people when choosing leaders. Some arise from tribal divisions, some arise from religious divisions, and this was witnessed in the last 2023 general election. I think going forward, we should first put the identity of being a Nigerian before considering our identities on the basis of which part of the country we come from. If that is addressed, we can be sure of making headways politically in choosing leaders not based on sentiments or religious biases or tribal considerations.
Okay, don't you think in doing this we need to start from the grassroots?
Sure.
So, what do you think if you were given a position or if you have an opportunity to do that, what would you do differently?
Well, like I've always said, I've always been someone who is in touch with what happens at the grassroots. I have a deep knowledge of the expectations of the people at the grassroots because myself, I came from the grassroots. My background is out there for the public to know that some of the things I do or say are in line with the benefits and the interest of those at the grassroots. I have my root traced to that background. So by and large, I have a deeper knowledge of what the expectations are. And another thing, when you don't allow personal interest to becloud your sense of judgment, some of these things are done not out of conviction of nationalism, but they are done from the point of view of what's in for me. It is high time we do away with that expectation of what's in for me. If what's in for me defines your engagement or interaction with the people around you or the society you live in, you are bound to make mistakes because being selfless in this instance, we have to prioritize service. Service should be our purpose. Patriotism should be our defining characteristic. Doing so, we should be sure of getting it right.
Wow, okay, that's a nice one. So now let's talk about experienced stakeholders. What's your take on the kind of advice that they give?
Well, I think we all are stakeholders and participants,
Experienced,
experienced experienced stakeholders. I don't know what that stands to benefit the common man on the street because both the experienced stakeholders, so to say, in quote, are also partners in the progress of our dear nation. So there's no one measures above the other. I think we are people on the same cadre trying to get things right, but some of these things are done out of sheer mischief because some practices have arrogated to themselves the power to detect and decide what happens.
exactly. Now you're talking because when you talk about experience, because I feel that some of them are sideline, like they choose a particular path they want to go.
Sure.
Instead of being neutral,
Yeah.
they go one-sided. Because if you go one-sided, what do you expect your followers to do?
Well, the bandwagon effect has always been there. Some of these followers, because of the hard economic realities of the day, we have been in a situation where sometimes people make choices and judgment not based on their conviction, but based on what the paymaster directs
Yes.
them to do, which is quite unfortunate. And I hope we get that right and corrected.
Okay, so now let's talk about transparency and accountability. How do you ensure that is done?
Well, ensuring transparency and accountability,
Accountability.
it goes down to the three tiers of government because sometimes the attention and focus is shifted to the center and those closer to the people are left on account to, they are not called to account. Like for instance, I should be able to question my local government chairman, what are his programs and policies for my local government. But that is not done. And that is, by the way, the local government is not functional as it should be because we've had situations where the executive, the subnationals, the governors sit and they appoint caretaker committee chairman instead of democratically elected local government chairman. So these local government chairmen appointed, so to say, are the whims and caprices of these governors. They do their bidding, not doing what the people they are elected, sorry, they are appointed to serve expect of them.
Okay, so when you have a country where you have angry youths who probably believe things should be done their own way,
Mm.
not maturely, you tend to see aggression. Now, some people believe that accountability, if you cannot give an account of what what you are expected to do,
Yeah,
violence is the way forward.
yeah.
Now, I want to believe that well, from what we've seen so far, some youth don't know the right way to ask for accountability. Yes, we chose you in. We are the followers. We elected you in, and we expect you to go to do these basics for us, and you're not doing it for us. And then this youth now resort to violence. What would you say about that?
Where I am not here to justify violence, but I think I would have to also admit, because I'm in tune with what's happening, I'm not going to play dumb or play ignorant of what's going on. I think we've been pushed. Judging by my age, I think I've grown past the stage of being a youth, but I fall under the category of the younger generation. So I believe we've been pushed to the wall, and we're at a point in our lives that our backs are already turned against the wall. Like the saying goes, when injustice becomes the law, resistance becomes the alternative. So the youth sometimes, in some cases, none of these actions can be justifiable, but sometimes they're excused because of the situation arising from these instances. My take would be, going forward, we should define for ourselves what works for us, not doing what results into violence, because violence has never solved any problem.
Exactly.
For instance, if as a younger person, my responsibility and duty to my country, Nigeria, should be to see it beyond what happens for the now. I should be thinking of the generation after me. Do I intend to raise a family? Am I interested in having kids? What become of these kids if I bequeath to them a society that's not work for them? So what are those things I'm supposed to do to move the society forward in order for them to have a society? For instance, if I have a girl child, I know most of part of these states in our country, some of the traditions there forbid the girl child the right to inheritance. And sometimes the girl child is oppressed on the basis of her gender. So what are those things I'm supposed to do to see that she's given a society that she's proud of? Number one, I should look at who governs my state. I should look at who becomes the president of Nigeria. Sometimes people are discouraged from political participation because of the experiences they've had, or ugly instances that occur in the course of trying to get involved in the political system. But that's not to say it's enough to discourage us from still keep pushing. I would advocate that going forward, sometimes making the right decision require you going back to someone's root.
Thank you so much for a well spoken moment.
Thank you.
I think I have enjoyed my time with you.
It's an
Thank you
honor.
so much, Tesu. I want to say more grace to your elbow in the works of your life or in the
Thank
things
you.
that you are doing. Thank you. And then please continue encouraging the youth. We need you. We need people like you to keep encouraging us, keep encouraging those who have lost hope.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're
Yeah, the
welcome.
program
It's an
is a good
honor.
morning, Abuja. I have been speaking with a political analyst by name Cecil Dishik Nikia. The program is a good morning. Let's go on a short break.